President Trump made his first visit to troops in a combat zone as commander-in-chief on Wednesday, meeting with U.S. soldiers at Ain al-Assad base west of Baghdad, Iraq. The president told them he had no plans for withdrawal from Iraq after his recent decision to pull out of Syria. However, Iraqi lawmakers took offense at President Donald Trump's surprise visit to U.S. troops stationed there, with some of the most powerful groups in the Baghdad parliament urging a review of America's military presence in the country. Your thoughts, Chike?
Yeah, you know, I'm a student of history. And incidentally, when I was in school, A-levels, history was my best subject. And I remember from that time that we were taught and told that America is the policeman of the world.
Yes.
That phrase stuck in my head. And how many years later it takes a President Trump to want to repudiate that, I don't understand.
Well, there's a precedent for that. America practiced an isolationist policy between World War I and World War II.
That's right.
They did not get involved in World War II
No,
until...
I'm talking after World War II.
Yeah, so there's
Yes.
a precedent, so it's not
So
the first
he's going
to
back.
go back.
Okay,
Yes.
is that what you're saying? Okay.
There's a precedent.
Isolationism itself dates back to 1823.
Exactly. That was much.
So it's
So
not
there's a
just war something.
precedent.
Yes,
There's a
but,
precedent for it.
but you see, that's going back in time. I thought we were going forward. And I thought, yes, we've come through the era of the Cold War and all the other developments. And whether we like it or not, America, in fact, the struggle now, if you ask me, was that they want to be the sole superpower of the world. But, you know, of course, you are having China here, North Korea, and these other renegade regimes that are also, you know, because it's all about nuclear weapons now. And exactly. So I don't understand. You see, Trump is just being Trump. Everything about Trump, you know, it's has to be Trump, if you know what I mean. And that means he wants to be different. Because you can't want to take a responsibility, or take the glory of something and not take the concomitant responsibility. It's not possible. You have those troops there. You have to contain insurgency in that axis. You have all the interests, just like we talked about Africa now. He knows what their interests are in Iraq and all over the Middle East. And whether he likes it or not, they will pay for it. And they will do it. And he cannot unilaterally. You see, that is why I have so much faith in the American democracy, because their institutions are strong. And they will checkmate him. It doesn't matter whether he's the president or not.
Attempts so far have failed. He
Yes.
still insists that ISIS in Syria has been beaten. He will withdraw.
Yes.
In spite of resignations of his special envoy.
Yes.
And then
His
his defense chief,
Yes.
Mattis, also resigned.
You see, that's what I'm saying. Those are the shakings that will bring him back. Trump can keep on tweeting. He can keep on saying what he likes. But at the end of the day, at best, he will get a phased, you know, gradual reduction. He's never going to withdraw in all those things. He can't leave those kinds of vacuum because he knows what will happen in those areas, whether it is Afghanistan, whether it is Iraq.
But it's Syria he's withdrawing
from. I know, whether it's Syria, wherever it is, even if they have an issue in present-day Africa that they have an interest in, he knows that he cannot withdraw just like that.
Prof, can you explain the intricacies? This withdrawal, trying to resign as the world's policeman, what does that actually mean in practical terms, especially when America is jostling for position with China, trying to be the dominant global superpower, especially with Africa, the race for our, you know, minerals, our resources with China. Obviously, America will not drop the baton on that race. Why are they trying to, you know, withdraw from the fight against ISIS?
Well, I wouldn't talk about withdrawal. If you ask a military strategist, he will tell you about offensive, defensive, and defensive, offensive. It depends on which one is more convenient. Defensive, offensive simply means you prioritize defense. You withdraw in order to re-strategize, to prepare for a later offensive. You may also begin by launching attack, first of all. All right? You begin with offensive. In order to secure, to ensure that your troops at the level of defense are not exposed to threats. I think what Donald Trump is trying to do in this case, all right, is to begin with a defensive approach, to re-strategize, to replan. It's as simple as that.
What is the end game?
You see, it is important to explain United States situation in Syria as of today, in order to understand better the situation in Iraq. Do not forget that Russia and the United States were together in the same camp, wanting to fight terrorists. All right? Syria. America was not against the Syrian government in the beginning. But at the very juncture, when the Syrian government, I think we should comment their foreign policy strategies, they decided to offset, to pay the debt owed Russia about $3 billion. Syria paid, settled the debt owed Russia, and then Russia now look at it to say, by that time, American naval troops were on the high seas, were on the point of launching attack on Syrian government. But because of the factor, because of the payment made to Russia, Russia sat down, cool, calm, collected, and now sent a signal to the United States to say, look, don't do anything that can destabilize our common interest. They sent a signal that the US must not attack. And that was how the sharp division between Russia and the United States on the matter of Syria began. So the argument changed from terrorists, fighting terrorists, etc., to those who are now fighting the Syrian government, the rebellion. Now, how is that one related to Iraq? In this case, withdrawal. The problem is more complex than the issue of withdrawal we are talking about. How do we explain the fact that United States will visit Iraq, a sovereign state, without the knowledge of the government in power? Didn't he apply for visa? He didn't have a passport? Where did the American plane land? Is it on the soil of Iraq? Is there no complicity of the Iraqi government itself? Because Iraq has the territory, land territory, and the airspace.
Yes.
A plane cannot land on Iraqi land, soil, without prior permission, without clearance.
But, Prof,
so,
let me break you here a bit and ask you, because you are the professional. I thought there was this talk of when America has maybe like an air base in a foreign country, that place, for reasons for international law,
exterritoriality.
Yes, yeah, because it's American territory. And obviously you can put American air controllers in there. And of course, if Air Force One is coming in from Washington and is supposed to be top secret, nobody knows about it. He goes in there, he lands. It is assumed he's landed in American soil. He does what he wants to do and he gets out. Yeah.
It's a valid observation,
yes,
but it goes beyond that.
Yes.
It's not just like an embassy that is given the status of exterritoriality.
Yes.
Meaning, the issue is that the military base, as it is still subject to the national security, national protection. All right? The Americans can protect themselves within the framework of that particular base.
Yes.
But outside of the base,
yes,
the responsibility, international responsibility, belongs to the government of Syria and Iraq and all that. So, you see, at the end of the day, I think that Donald Trump is only giving a meaning to America first. That is, America first, or making America great again, means that what used to make America great, which is policing the whole world, all right?
Which is trying to run away from. Anyway, he's running away from that responsibility. Isn't that what he said?
No.
He had a quote. He said, America is not the policeman of the world. In other words, we are nobody's Father Christmas.
That is declaratory statement. It's a declaratory statement. What you state is different from what you do.
Exactly.
On this note, we have to go for a short break at this time.